And welcome to MoteMancer. This is a hex grid-based factory builder game. The obvious comparison is going to be Factorio. I noticed this on the Nextfest. I jumped in, played maybe about 15-20 minutes or so just to get a feel for it, but it's going to be a factory builder game. But let's go ahead and just jump right in. The setting is going to be fantasy, so everything that you're used to, the industrial setting of Factorio, is going to be a little bit different here. It's really unique and it's really nice, but let's have a look. So this is going to be the tutorial that we're going through. Essentially what we're harvesting are elements. So these are your 6 elements here. We're making basic components out of these elements, just like any factory game. So salt is shadow, water, and earth, and you'll notice as we walk around there's different nodes that we're harvesting from, but these 3 nodes will produce salt. Life, fire, and air are going to produce ether, and then we're going to use those to create more complex items, just like any factory builder. Now this one, like I said, it's kind of hex-based, so the angles are a little different than what you're used to in, say, a game like Factorio. And again, the setting and just the environment will be completely different. Motes find form, join their potential. Yep, this is letting us know, kind of giving us the setting. And we're in. WASD. You'll notice too, the game looks really good close up, and you can, just like with Factorio or any good factory game, you can get way far out, so you can kind of get a good overview of what's going on. But let's try to jump in. We won't get too much into the tutorial here. So structures need power. It's letting us know you can cast mana flare, use regent. So it wants me to power this building over here. And that's gonna be, I don't know if there's other spells that you get later on, but anyway, this is, the one we have right now is called mana flare. So we get it primed, hold down, just basically left click, cast it, and then this will power anything around it. Go back and talk to here. Oh, I need to get the stuff from the chest. So this is producing and putting it into the chest. Now I'm clicking through the tutorial pretty quickly. I'll slow it down a little bit for you, any of you guys that want to read it, but we just want to have a look at the gameplay. Okay, we gotta get through the gate into our first world. And here we are. And that's it. Now this is the game world, and one thing I do want to say, with a lot of these games I've been testing out for the Nextfest, there's a bunch of them that I really, really liked, and it seems to be kind of a theme that they get us right into the game pretty quickly. Like, it doesn't, I haven't noticed a lot of like long, drawn out introductions. They just let you play, which is awesome. So these are your nodes, so you're just harvesting basically essence, motes. 6 different types, and I'll zoom out quite a bit. You'll see like you've got resource nodes over here. We're gonna harvest this, but this would be like a resource patch you would see in any of the other harvesting games, or any of the factory games. Let me collect a bunch of these. So it wanted me to collect 10, which we did. Hit claim, and then that goes to... So we open our inventory, similar to any other factory game. We can pocket craft. So we've got salt and ether, those are the 2 main ingredients, so it wants us to do 5 of these. 5 of each. We'll go ahead and make them. Claim that. That'll let us open up a few more things. Do a simple collector. So this is what we're going to stick onto the resource nodes. So this one should be what? Water? I kind of want to pick all this stuff up just so I have a collection in my pocket. So a little easier to craft. So instead of using a pickaxe, we're just using a staff. The art and music, though, are awesome. And it just plays really smooth. Okay, so it wants a simple collector, so let's go to here. Under production, simple collector. I'm going to make one of these guys. And we will place it down. I'm not gonna lie, I don't know what that little orange spot is. But anyway, we'll put it right there. And then we need to power it. Alright, so that should get it started. So now it's gonna start collecting water motes. And it'll just do that automatic until the power runs out. You'll see too, if you keep an eye on it, like as we run by, see how it's kind of, if you look, the power's starting to drain. But at any point in time I can run over and just, and then I can just run over and cast the spell again to repower it. And then I need a grindstone. Basically, this is gonna be a, like, refinery. It's gonna take the basic resources and turn it into something useful. So this, we can do the usual controls of... Okay, we'll put it one space away, because we're eventually gonna put an arm to grab and throw it right into here. Alright, let's get this powered up. I'm sure there's a more efficient way to do all of this, but we're not worried about that right now. So we've done that. So then I need an infusion altar and 2 pedestals. The one thing that's that's a little confusing, like in other production games, when you have like an anvil or a forge or a refinery, like you have some basic understanding of what that does, so it totally makes sense. These are all gonna be foreign terms and just specific to this game, so sometimes you have to, that's the one thing you have to navigate through with this game, is knowing what it's actually talking about, because it's using its own terms. So I need 2 pedestals. So we'll get 2 of those, and then an infusion altar, which means I need salt and, okay. Well, we need more resources. So that's a water node. And then for their basic, like salt is gonna be water, earth, and shadow. And then I need either life, fire, or air. Let me see if there's another, okay, that's a green, looks like a life node. So we're gonna put a collector on that life node so I can start extracting. That way I have the 2. They seem to divide the basic resources in half between the 6 different types of nodes. So let's clear out some of this so that we can use this. Is this almost 2 of them? It's almost twice the size. This is just like in Factorio, where you'd spend a few minutes cutting down trees. Okay, that should be clear enough. And then, let's see if I'm able to build an extractor. So we needed a simple collector. We're gonna put that here, just so that we can start, and it kind of shows the output. So 56,000. Yeah, it's 2 separate nodes. Okay, cool. I might actually want that. Because when I was going through before, I was noticing, as far as regents, this gets used a couple of times. So like having 2 of them setting up making ether would actually be a pretty good idea. I don't know if we'll get that far in this demo, but yeah, that's worth noting. But in the meantime, let's just go ahead and do that. We'll get both of them set up. We'll eventually get the usual conveyor belts, robotic arms to start grabbing. What was that? Oh, Moto Life. Okay, let's do that. Let's put down another collector here. That way we can have a large collection of both of these resources in our pocket. 55,000. Okay, so we'll put that there. And then it needs to be... Oh, they both need to be powered. Hopefully putting... Well, I mean, you can move things later, so it's not a big deal. I don't know if there's a specific spot where you're supposed to be putting the power node, but... Or the mana flare. but we're not gonna stress too much about it. All right, let me run back and forth once. So we'll come down, collect what's in here, and we'll go back up and collect what's in these other collectors. So shift there. So there we go. We have 2 stacks of water. And then let's head on up to here, and we'll get ourselves a full stack of earth. And then we'll just let these run for a while. There we go. So that should give us plenty while we're getting through the tutorial. So, infusion altar. Okay, so let's build an infusion altar. Let's do that. Let's do that in the middle here, in between our 2 nodes. It's just a really, really chill vibe to the whole game. Okay, so then what do we need? An infusion altar. That should be, what, under artifice? Infusion altar. And it does the pocket craft like everyone's used to. Okay, so we're gonna need infusion altar and 2 pedestals. I think it used the pedestals that I made to make the infusion. Okay, so let's place this down. This is about as far as I got when I was kind of testing it out. I know you needed 2 pedestals. I'll stick 1 there, 1 there. We'll power this thing on. And then we stick 2 elements on the pedestals and it'll fuse, and that's basically us doing research. So I need ether and salt prism, so let's make a bunch of those. We'll pocket craft those for now. So ether, and then salt prisms. I'll have to give that a minute to finish. Now these grindstones we can actually, while we're waiting on those, these grindstones we can use. Here we can pick what we want it to be producing, and this is the input that it'll pull and the output that it'll send out. Yeah, that actually shows it. See the mana flare? How it's like kind of half full at this point. So at any point in time I can come back over and just refill it. That seems to be free. It doesn't seem to be costing me anything to do that. Okay, so for this guy, we're gonna stick some of those in there, and so it consumed them both. So this produces technology points. And then, yeah, this is where I stopped and kind of jumped out and started this video. So this will be all new, so we'll go there. Right, so we got the research tree. Let's have a look here. So this tells us all the ingredients that we're gonna need. Salt prism, ether, shifting slab. Then salt prism, okay, so this is the more simplistic one. This needed grippers. Those sound like robotic arms. Let's see, ether, shifting slab. Okay, so this gets me to a chest and the grippers, and then it goes straight from there to here to a shifting slab, but it just uses salt and ether, which is what we can easily produce right now, so I guess that's the direction to go. Okay, so I've done 1, so I need to do 2 more. Okay. Okay, so we've got a bunch of that. Let's make some of this. I mean, we can, like I said, we can use the grindstone for this, but I think it's a little easier to do it from here. Alright, so that completes the research. And then it lights it up. Okay, research unlocked. So what did that gave me a chest and a gripper. Okay, let's get out of there. Use a simple gripper to place a salt prism into a pedestal. Wait, where am I? I lost track. Here I am. So we're gonna use a gripper arm. Logistics. Oh, a salt prism into a pedestal. Okay. What are we looking at for salt? Okay, so that's gonna be salt and ether is what we need to make those. We've already got a few of them made. So it wants a... So if I did a gripper arm... Ooh, it's covering up a lot of the screen. I can't quite tell. So the input tiles, the blue tiles are the input. The orange tile is the output. Alright, so that's gonna go like this. And then we'll do a chest. Logistics, yep, chest, there we go. From here. And then if I were to put the salt prisms into here, it's showing me, looks like it's showing me the direction that it's gonna go. We'll put power right here. Okay, so it's sending it into there. I think while we're at it, we'll do the same thing over here. So input and output. And then we'll stick a chest. We'll make it match. We can always pick things up and move them, so if the power's in the way, then it's not that big of a deal. So then we'll put these in here. That covers up a lot of the screen. Okay. So that's our logistics. So if we can get those items into these two chests, or we just do it manually, then it'll just constantly be producing research. Have a simple collector output into a grindstone. Okay. So let's do this. Let's get us one of the arms, and we'll go from here to here. Although I tend to use, like, chest buffer, like, I tend to use buffers, but... Here we go. Yeah, see how the angles are a little bit weird that you have to account for? So it's on a hex base, so, like, you can go horizontal, but there's no direct vertical, so you always have to, like, kind of figure the angles. Oh, the orange tile is the output. Got it. Okay, so this is... Well, can we just do it like this? Well, let's find out. Or does it have to be on the output? Yeah, it doesn't have to be on that orange. It can just go from here. Alright, so this goes straight into the grindstone. And then this is producing salt. And so it'll just constantly produce salt. So that's good. Have a simple collector output directly into a grindstone. I just did. Does it insist that I do it from there? Alright, well, let's do that. Alright, we'll pick the whole thing up. Alright, so we'll get rid of this. We'll move the power over to here. Do... Stick that there. Oh, I probably should have done the power right here. Yep, there we go. Yeah, that doesn't work. I'm not gonna lie, I am Well, we'll take these out and it'll... But it's not outputting to here. What if I put a chest here? Okay, well that'll work. It'll output straight to the chest, and then this is going to here. But it still didn't clear the simple collector output directly into a grindstone, which... Oh, I see. Okay, I'm being dumb. Alright, hang on. Hang on. Yeah. It means to do that. And then for power, we'll pick these two up. There we go, we figured it out. Alright, so this is outputting straight into here, which probably makes the most sense. So this is gonna constantly put out salt. Okay. So then I need to... Alright, so we're doing research while I was kind of messing around with all that. So we do the shifting slabs, which it looks like a belt. Okay. That, like I said, that covers up a lot. Okay, well that worked. That cleared it up. So then a tinker table, so that just means I need to keep researching. Alright, so let's set up the same thing there. That is... Get these two repowered. Let me take these two. Let's make 2 more of these. And we'll do the same thing. We'll have the exact same setup in both spots. So that's gonna output directly. And that's gonna output directly. Okay, so these two should be producing aether. Okay, beautiful. Okay, that's where we're doing our research. Maybe I'll zoom out a little bit, a little easier to see. Yep, because I keep missing it. Okay. So this is still outputting. So let's go ahead and take some of the salt, because we're gonna need, for the research, I needed these. So it might be best. Maybe we'll go up here. Since it wants to pull, or since I want it to pull from here, let's build out. Wrong direction. Should be able to, can I just reverse it? Yes, I can. Oh. Okay, let's try that again. Nope, let's try it again. There we go. That goes in that direction. And then let's place one right here. The reason I'm, like, wondering what to do is you'll notice these regions, like this, is constantly being produced up top here. And that's one of the ingredients we need. This, I need both ingredients. I need salt and ether to make these salt prisms, and that's how we can actually do our research. So I'm gonna want to be able to have a grindstone. Now I don't see an output for the grindstone, like a dedicated output for the grindstone. Alright, so let's get rid of this. This is the chest that we're gonna put the final product into. So the grindstone will go here. That way it'll be powered. And then I'm gonna put a chest here. And we're gonna have this chest will feed the grindstone. And then what I'll be putting is... Yeah, I'm gonna be producing this, so I'm gonna put salt and ether are both gonna go into this chest. So let's experiment with that. Now, pretty soon we're gonna have belts, and so we're not gonna be worrying about this. So let's take a couple stacks of this. Let's take a couple stacks. Alright, so we've got plenty. Let's, just so I don't have to think about it, we'll top these off. Now, we're not doing any research, but we'll top this off anyway. And then we'll put one right there to power that node, or that arm. Simple gripper, okay. It's gonna take me a while to get used to the terms. Okay, so let's grab a stack of that. And then we'll go here. We'll put in one stack, and then here, put in one stack. No. Did I get it opposite? I did, hang on. That's what we want. Okay, here we go. Alright, so that's working. So now it's constantly producing research. Right? Should that get me to 6? Yeah, that gets me to 6. Okay. And then once that's done, it'll want me to make a tinker table. I'm assuming that's just some kind of... that's a different kind of production facility. What we're gonna need is... we're gonna need belts going from here all the way up to here. Okay, let's make a tinker table. And that's the one thing it does unlock. And what does a tinker table do? Let's look, let's just make one. Oh, shifting slabs, okay. So this is the automated method for making belts. Obviously, this isn't where I'm gonna want it to be permanently, but... Alright, let's have a look in here. Okay, so this can actually make... Okay, got it. This is the tier 2 items are all made within this structure. Okay, so then we need... Ooh, so this is gonna want both of those resources. And I think what I'll do is we'll semi-automate this. Let's move this, though. Because if I'm going to be building belts, the belts are going to go through here. I don't think I'm going to automate the, I don't think I'm going to automate the slabs. Let's get to... Wait, where did it go? Here it is. Alright, let's put this right here. And then let's get a chest. And a gripper. That should work. And then we'll put the chest here. And then here, what we're gonna be doing is... Wait, how do we make a belt? Belts are made with salt prism and salt. Okay. Let me go grab a stack of each. Obviously we'll want this automated at some point, but for now, just grab it manually. And top these off while I'm here, so it doesn't shut down on me. We're probably gonna want a grindstone as well. Let's make one of those. The reason I say that, here, let's put an arm down first, just so I know where to place this. Oh wait, yeah. Nope, wrong way. There we go. The reason I want like a grindstone there is because we're gonna need to produce some of these items. I might be doing this wrong, but we'll find out. And we'll do an arm here. Into that direction, and then we need to power them all. Oh. There we go. Okay, so in order to produce, let's go to here. So in order to produce belts, I'm gonna need salt and, let's see here. So we're gonna need this to produce it. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna put, do I have any stacks of it? Yes. So into this box, we're gonna go salt, there we go. And then in this box, we'll put the pure salt, and it should move. I don't know if it's gonna move both of them. It did. But it's only moving one of them at a time. Okay. So then we're gonna wanna do this. Now this is where the angles come in. So if I go here, and I use this as the output chest, and then I do another gripper. I could totally be doing this wrong, but that's what we're here to do. Oh no, see, it's now you're messing with all the angles. Okay, so we may need to rotate this. Again, I did it the wrong way. So let's pick this up. And we'll move this grindstone to here. It seems like with the angles, you're gonna wanna start with your goal and build outward, if there's any confusion on the angles. So then from here, we can get rid of this. Right, so it started making them. Okay, so it did pull them and start making them. So what I want is these will go here. And then both of these and then I need to power it. Let's see if I actually, oh wait. No, we won't put it there. We'll put it here. Okay, so then this is gonna be... I even forget the terms. This is gonna be putting salt prisms from this side, and then it's gonna load ether from this side, and it's gonna use those two, but it's also producing simple collectors. What am I getting wrong, and why am I doing this? I see what I'm screwing up. Got it. Got it, got it, got it. This is where I'm being dumb. Alright, so get rid of this. That's okay, we have a bunch of simple collectors now. Let's get rid of this. We don't need that, we need just raw salt. Got it. Alright, let's pull some resources. That's where my confusion comes in. I need to make the salt prisms, and I need to put just regular salt in there. And then salt and... there we go. So now it's gonna produce... yes, it's just gonna produce belts. Alright, let's check the rest of our productions. Oops, that was dumb. Alright, let's fill everything up. We're gonna need good labeling systems here. So let's manually pull. What am I trying to do? There we go. I forget you have to prime the, Okay. And then let's go get some salt stacks from over here. And we're ready to research more technology. Okay, that's gonna take some time. So this is our, kind of our bottleneck will be salt. So we need another producer of salt if we want to actually be efficient. Either way, let's power this up. And then let's go to our research tree. Oh, I think that's as far as it goes for the tutorial. Okay, so what are we producing here? We needed salt prisms. So we're making salt prisms. Salt prisms, we're gonna need just regular salt and ether. So salt and ether go into here, and then I needed just regular ether into here. But that should be okay. So for this, we'll go salt and ether. And then I don't see any another one of these producing salt would actually be ideal. But that's a life node, so I don't think that's gonna produce, that's the same as these, so it's not gonna produce salt. This is an earth node though, so this would produce salt. Let's clear this out. Same thing, we'll do a basic collector straight into a grindstone. And we're gonna start building a belt system, but we're gonna wanna do that essentially backwards. Okay, so let's do a simple collector and look at our output. 56,800, that's the best I saw. And then we'll do a... Okay, we'll do a grindstone here. And then we need to power it on. Alright, this should be going straight into here. And it should be producing salt. Okay, so we'll let that run. So now I have 2 producing salt and 2 producing aether, I think. I'll get the terms down. Alright, let's fill these up. We're gonna need 1,000,000 belts, that's for sure. So we can probably lay off on feeding these and just get our belts. So from here... Oh yeah, look at, see, we got a ton of belts here. Okay. Belts, I needed salt and... Okay, so we're gonna let them produce. But we are gonna wanna run... We need to run salt directly into here. So let's get to... Let's put this onto number 5. Now we're gonna wanna leave a gap. Well, let's see. Oh, wait, that was... I didn't mean to do that. I want my grippers there. Let's go logistics. We'll make a bunch of these. And we'll stick them right there. Wait, why did it not go there? Oh, they're stacks of 50. Alright, fine, we'll put it right here. So number 6. Okay. So that's where the belt needs to be. So we can get rid of this. Flip it around. Okay. Okay, let's go out, and then we'll go back up. Yeah, hex-based. So where do we gotta go? We gotta get... Okay. So let's head... Does that work? It doesn't work. Yeah, that's the direction we want to go. Okay, we need to go across. Yep. There we go. Oh, we can just run it. Definitely not efficient. Okay, let's get to the, So will it just... So if I just do a belt out of it, does it do that? Nope, it needs a gripper. So it needs an arm. Yep, just like that. All right, and then... Okay, it should be able to grab it from there. Alright, let me power this on and see if I got all my angles correct. And I did not. So I needed to go, I needed to get right there. There we go, okay. So now this is gonna pump salt down to here, and this should grab it and put it straight in, because it is raw salt that I need. Yes, it is. Okay, so then from here, we're gonna need a couple of belts. We're almost gonna need belt systems off of both of these. Okay. So that gives me, well, and I think that's actually far enough to kind of get the idea of what's going on. We're gonna continue our research, of course, and then we're gonna start funneling all of these products, in this case, ether out of both of these. One ether is gonna go straight to our research, the other ether is gonna get, just like the salt, gets sent straight down to here. So ether into that chest, and then raw salt. Did I run past it? I did. And then raw salt is gonna get belted up to here. Now, the other question is gonna be splitters, which I don't know if we'll either get to those. Let's see. Salt Sanctuary, Niter, Swiftstone. So it's tough to say. I don't know where it's going to... That's an underground slab. Elemental binder, and then a shifting slab. Okay, same thing. Okay, so it's hard to say. We'll obviously have somewhere in the chain is going to be splitters so we can split off the production, or we can find ourselves another salt producer and bring that over to here. That way we can funnel things over for the research. Or, I mean, as far as research goes, I mean, the belts are going to be the most important thing, so we might be able to just do the research manually. But anyway, that kind of gives you a good idea. It's like I said, a direct comparison to Factorio. The look and feel of the game is absolutely amazing. You have to get used to the hex-based system instead of just doing up, down, left, and right, and diagonal, so you don't get all directions of movement. But once you kind of figure that out, yeah, this is a lot of fun. So I think this has a whole ton of potential. Hopefully it works out really, really well, but I'm going to keep an eye on this game. But again, guys, I'm going to call it here. Thank you for watching, guys, and I'll see you on the next one.